Hey guys, how are we? Well, welcome to the Overseas Exile channel. So basically here we talk about what's happening in the global economy, finance, and what it means for us traveling. So stay tuned. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you get all the notifications from the Overseas Exile. Okay. So overnight, what we've seen is that the British pound sterling has significantly depreciated against the US currency. So it's actually dropped to its lowest point in history. So very, very significant news. There's a couple of reasons for that, and that is that the Europeans are about to head into winter. There is an energy crisis in Europe, and to counter that, what the British government has done is give a guarantee that no household in the UK would pay more than £2,500 sterling for their energy bills. The other measure that they've taken out is to basically reduce their tax. And this is really bad news. So basically, in effect, what they've done is they've borrowed huge amounts of money and then they have actually cut their revenue. And most investors have turned around and said, look, we're not really interested in that. And they've started to sell assets in the UK. And that's why you're seeing the UK pounds or the British pound sterling really plummet in value. But there's a few other effects to that, and that is that the US currency is actually appreciating at a rapid rate. So over the last couple of months, the US has faced significant stress in regards to inflation. And the reason why is because of the COVID-19 stimulus packages and their measures to stimulate the economy. So because they've added so much money to the M1 money supply, what they've seen is too much money causes inflation. And that's what I've said in the past. Other people have come out and said, no, inflation is caused by supply chain shortages. That is not the case. Anytime you see significant inflation, it is because of too much money in the M1 money supply. And so when the US came out of lockdowns, the velocity of that M1 money supply went right up, and then you saw inflation increase very, very significantly. But what we're seeing at the moment is the US currency appreciating. This has some great benefits for the US and great benefits for the Biden administration. I'm going to go through two of those. So the first one is, as the US currency appreciates, it means that they can buy goods and services from other economies at a much cheaper rate. This has a downward effect on inflation. This is very good for the Biden administration over the coming weeks and months as they head into the midterm elections. The other effect that it has, and most people will not know this, but it weaponizes the US currency against China. There is a Cold War happening between the US and China at the moment. I don't know if you've had your head in the sand or somewhere else, but there is significant conflict between the US and China, and some people are saying there is a guaranteed conflict between the two before the end of next year. Now, I don't know about that, but certainly Taiwan is going to be a flashpoint. Anyway, with the current situation for China, they have apparently 60 trillion yuan in debt, and most of that is in debt with the property developers. That's the equivalent of around 4 trillion or 4.5 trillion US dollars. And that money needs to be paid back in the short to medium term, because a lot of that money comes from the international money market. The other thing that most people are not aware of is that a lot of investors, a lot of hedge funds and big investment firms have started to pull out of Hong Kong and started to pull out of China. And I've said this in previous videos. As that money is pulled out of the Chinese system, it has the same effect as oxygen being pulled out from a flame. It means that it's impossible for that economy to flourish. And I think that's what we're seeing at the moment. The Chinese economy is really starting to contract at an extremely rapid rate. And it's at a really poignant time for the Chinese as Xi Jinping goes for his historic third term in the next couple of weeks. So some really big events happening over the next couple of weeks, so you certainly want to keep an eye on that. But this gives you a bit of a better backstory as to what's happening. But what's worse than that, and I've covered this in videos over the past couple of months, as the US currency appreciates, you're going to see it more and more difficult for developing economies to pay back their debt. And that's what you're seeing at the moment. Even today here in Thailand, the Thai government announced that the Thai Baht had depreciated to its lowest point in 16 years. Now, it's not so much that the Thai Baht has significantly decreased, it's that the Thai Baht has decreased and the US currency has increased. So you've got a double whammy effect on that. But that has a significant effect on what the local government here can do in providing goods and services to its people. Now the effect is that as the US dollar appreciates, the government here needs to pay back more and more currency in their local currency back in US dollars. So they've got to use more and more of their local currency to pay back the debt in US dollars. So some really significant things going on in the developing world. So it's not only going to affect Thailand, but it's going to affect places like Sri Lanka, it's going to affect Cambodia, Vietnam, Mexico, Venezuela. It's going to affect economies all around the world. And we're seeing that even happen in the Middle East. I did hear reports from a friend of mine who went to Lebanon a couple of weeks back, and he said it's an absolute basket case. It's a despot state. So significant problems starting to really emerge around the world. The US is looking in a really good position at the moment because they're sitting pretty, because their currency is appreciating at a significant rate. It means their exports are going to be down, but you know, I don't think that's going to affect them too much. But in regards to developing economies, you're going to see significant downturns, particularly as their economies contract and you see them struggle to provide goods and services and even foodstuffs. So for them to import goods internationally means that it's going to cost them significantly more and more. And that's going to have not only an effect on the quality of life, but also on civil unrest. So keep an eye on that in the next couple of weeks and months, because you're going to see a lot of developing economies go through civil unrest, riots and major disturbances. We even saw reports on the weekend that Xi Jinping had been arrested and placed under house arrest. That is unconfirmed and unsubstantiated and probably fake news, but I would not be surprised if I heard something like that in the coming weeks and months. I think they're going to go through some very, very hard times. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Thanks for watching. As I said, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, I'll leave that with you.